Welcome back to my series, Dance Mums Uncovered. The amount of time dedicated to rehearsing a number and the quality of these rehearsals can make or break a performance. The fast-paced weekly filming schedule of Dance Mums meant that rehearsal time was in short supply. There were many factors that meant that rehearsals were interrupted, made less effective, and used as a tool to psych out the kids. Because there was more to the dance rehearsals than the producers cared to show. Feel free to share your thoughts on the following evidence. First, let's look at production interference. There were restrictions placed on the dancers by production, which prevented them from having as much rehearsal time as possible. These restrictions included both deliberate actions and unintended consequences of the filming process. For instance, the younger dancers on Dance Mums often had less rehearsal time due to the fact that child labour laws dictated that they weren't allowed on camera for as many hours as the older kids. Abby has claimed that the youngest dancers, such as Mackenzie, had far less time to learn their routines than the teenagers, such as Brooke. This was probably a key reason why Mackenzie was kept out of so many group dances during earlier seasons.
Some of the kids that were younger had less time on camera than some of the kids that were older. Like Mackenzie had less time on camera with us than Brooke did. So we could keep Brooke longer. If Brooke was doing a solo, she was last. She had to go last.
During Season 1, Episode 3, the Hylands were late to rehearsal because the camera crew was at their house, filming the scene of Brooke saying that she didn't want to go to dance. And during Season 2, Episode 3, Kelly says that Brooke was told by producers not to go to the final rehearsal for Born to Dance. Kelly also insists that she never hired a choreographer for her kids. She says that no one in their right mind would do that to Abby. On Twitter, she also claimed that Abby was the one to bring in the guest choreographer during Season 3, Episode 39.
It's hard to be on time when you have 4 cameramen, 2 sound men, and producers at your house waiting to film your daughter saying she doesn't want to go to dance class. Okay, but Brooke was not breaking a contract because she had a contract with the television show that she had to do what they said, and that's what they told her to do. I would have never hired my own choreographer. No. I would have rather my kids not had a solo. You don't do that to Abby. No.
Lilliana recalls that she had to learn her first solo the night before the competition. She had previously learned a combination on camera, but Abby decided that she didn't like it and taught her the entire routine in a hotel lobby. That week, Stacey told Lilliana to practice her solo secretly in the bathroom, covering their microphones so that the producers wouldn't realise what they were doing.
We learned that part of the dance, but then she didn't like it. So then at night, the night before we went, she taught me the whole dance.
You learned your solo in the lobby.
Oh yeah.
The night before,
so my mom
to
told
no
me
music.
My mom told me to say, I have to go to the bathroom so that we could both go to the bathroom and practice my dance.
So I was like, we go in the bathroom and we had our microphones are like right here in our shirt.
So she'd be holding
So I was covering it like this, and I'm like, Lily, go over your solo. Just go over it one time before you go on stage.
There were also some scenarios which allowed the girls to have extra rehearsal time, although they often meant that the girls had less time for their schooling. During the week when Season 3, Episode 4 was filmed, Hurricane Sandy made its way to Pennsylvania, and a state of emergency was declared. Even though school classes were cancelled across the state, the girls still had to attend their dance rehearsals. Furthermore, Chloe has claimed that during the early years of the show, the girls would attend school from Mondays to Thursdays. They would then skip school on Fridays in order to rehearse and travel to competitions. Next, let's explore last-minute routines. The cast has identified some specific routines from the show, which suffered greatly from a lack of rehearsal time. For instance, Kira and Kalani revealed that the Junior Elite competition team only had 30 minutes to learn the Royals group dance, and then were only able to run it twice before performing it. She further claims that Abby was told by producers that week to keep running the group routine with the select team, rather than working with the Junior Elites.
The group number that they did that week, they learned it in 30 minutes.
Yeah, because,
and then ran it twice, and then
Abby was like, I'm gonna give you a break and let you go. And then let us go on the random routine. And I was like, okay, well then that just means that we're... But it's also not Abby that wants to do that, it's the producers that want to do that, and she has to follow what they say.
Kira revealed that Kalani learned her solo, Say Something, Say Anything, in only 30 minutes, which is an incredible feat given the fact that it received a perfect score. Holly confirmed on Twitter that Kendall and Nia's Pieces Together duet was only given 17 minutes of Abby's attention. And at a meet and greet, Christi and Chloe revealed that Chloe had to perform her Left in the Dark solo after rehearsing it only twice.
She's a doll, like in a yellow outfit. That dance she did it 2 times, and then she was on stage doing it, and I was a nervous wreck.
Kelly is still upset that Paige got her solo music for Double Take only 5 minutes before going on stage. She claims that Paige didn't even get the chance to practice with the correct music before having to perform. While we don't yet know which solo it was, Christi has declared that Brooke once learned a solo on the bus on the way to the competition.
She got like the music for her solo 5 minutes before she went on stage. She didn't even get to practice with the music.
I remember, and I think it comes up in season 2, when Brooke learns choreography on the bus.
Yeah.
Like actually on the bus.
Yeah.
Evidence number 3, after hours. Lilliana wasn't the only one to learn a dance routine in a hotel. On the Because Mum Said So podcast, the mums recall their kids having to rehearse their dances in hotel hallways, sometimes as late as midnight. Melissa also remembers Maddie learning a dance at midnight in the studio. It was during season 1 and Maddie had to get up early for school the following day. She was crying because she didn't want Abby to be mad at her for leaving early.
I remember the girls in the hallway of the hotels practicing.
Yeah.
At midnight, at way past hours, because we're like, shh, that's what they had to do because they weren't given enough time to remember and to know their numbers.
My daughter was falling asleep and I pulled her out and they were like, you can't do that. I'm like, it's midnight. She has to get up for school tomorrow. We're leaving. She was crying and,
Your kid knows I'm going to be tortured from the teacher because my mom is making me go home.
And even the rival dance teams weren't safe. Kathy says that she wouldn't teach these kids her own choreography because she was responsible for keeping her studio open in the afternoons. During later seasons of the show, the dancers on her team were not from Ohio, so they stayed at a nearby hotel. The guest choreographers were able to go work with the Candy Apples team at the hotel, while Kathy took Vivi home and put her to bed.
I could not do my own choreography, and that was my choice. They would come to the dance studio and they would film. And at 3 o'clock, I had to shut down everything because I had to go pick Vivi up. And the kids would either go back to the hotel and they would work on their dance. Well, I couldn't go back to the hotel and work on the dance with them because I was at the dance studio teaching from 4 to 9, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. At 9 o'clock, I wasn't going to head over to the Holiday Inn to work with them because my whole point was to get home and put my child to bed. Then it bit me in the butt because I would hear, you can't even do your own choreography.
4. Inequality. Recently, many secrets have been revealed about how Abby's favoritism played a major part in the girls' rehearsal time and the quality of their rehearsals. The mums have claimed that their kids were sabotaged when they competed against other ALDC teams, such as the Select team. These rival teams received extra time to practice, better costumes, better choreography, and extra training.
The Select team and all of that, and they'd give them like all the good costumes, all the good choreography, extra training.
All the time to practice, yeah.
Like, why are you sabotage? That was like 100% sabotage to our 10-year-olds.
Abby has also spilled the beans on the advantages she gave Maddie during her rehearsals. She says that Maddie was often pulled out of school to learn her solo during school hours. Abby says that she would then pretend to teach her the first 8 counts of the dance in front of the camera. She also says that she hired an acting coach who would work with Maddie in the studio at 8 o'clock in the morning. Kelly has pointed out that the extra time Maddie was given meant that Maddie was the only one who had time to practice putting emotions into her dances, which was something that made her routine stand out to teachers, judges, and audiences alike.
If you got out of school and you came early and you learned your routine,
it was like, oh, we don't even need you tonight.
And I would teach it the first 8 counts really fast, and they would film that to use on the show. But then we let the kid go and we brought back whoever's struggling and didn't have time to learn the number. She put the work in. But a lot of other people worked hard too. My staff, the faculty, an acting coach in Pittsburgh who was a friend of mine. She used to come in at 8 o'clock in the morning and work with Maddie.
Usually when you learn a dance and stuff, the last thing you do is put like your
Emotions into it.
Emotions into it. Maddie has the time to do that and put that into her dances. Nobody else ever got that opportunity because we usually didn't even have our dances done until we were leaving.
Christi and Kelly claim that Abby used to always say that she was an expert in drawing the judges' attention to particular things and away from other things through her choreography. They believe that Abby had too much power over the show and say that the producers had to bribe her and threaten her just to get solos for the other kids. Christi remembers that Chloe once did 8 perfect coupe turns in her solo rehearsal, and Abby refused to put them in her dance. Even though Abby would put difficult moves in the group dances, she refused to put them in some of the kids' solos.
So, and she says all the time that she can make your eyes and whatever you want look anywhere on the stage that you want based on what her choreography is, and it's true.
Yeah.
The problem with our show is Abby had too much control. And even for our kids to get good dances, the producers would have to almost kill her. They would have to bribe her. They would have to threaten her to give people good dances in later seasons because she was just like, no. There was a time when I remember very specifically, Chloe did 8 beautiful coupe turns. 8. Yeah. When rehearsing for a solo. And Abby goes, nope, you're doing 2.
You can see when my girls do the group dance, they can do what everybody else can do, but she won't put it in their dances.
Yes.
And finally, we have psychological tactics. The mums believe that Abby would use rehearsals, especially solo rehearsals, to psych out and intimidate particular kids each week. Christi and Kelly have pointed out that during their kids' rehearsals, Abby puts a ton of pressure on the kids. But with Maddie, she encourages her and tells her that she wants her at the top of the pyramid. Christi says that Abby was awful to Chloe during rehearsals in Season 2, Episode 4, because she was mad that Chloe had won the week before. She believes that Abby wanted to rattle Chloe before her next solo so that it wouldn't happen again.
She is pissed off that Chloe won. She knows they're going head to head, so what's she going to do? She's going to f with Chloe all week to make sure that she is rattled so that she loses this week and all can be well in her life. She goes, I don't want you at the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah, and they high five and the whole thing. She like puts Maddie at the top and gives her a pep talk, but when we're at the top, we're tortured.
In Season 1, Paige had only 30 minutes with the guest choreographer. Kelly never intended for Paige to perform this solo, thinking that it was just a ploy by the producers to psych out Paige and irritate Abby.
I think he was only there like a half an hour. Like we totally filmed for like a half an hour. That was like the time that she had, because they never intended for her to do it.
It was sure
just to piss Abby off.
Of course.
To get Paige flustered.
We need a fight.
There was no intention of Paige doing that dance on stage.
Dancers who found it difficult to learn their routines in such a short amount of time were often viewed as less talented or inferior to those who could. Let us remember that in many instances, these kids were prepared in such a way that neither Abby nor production could realistically expect them to achieve perfection in their routines. So what do you guys think? Which rehearsal secret surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!